Hello. And hubba.
Dude, you're driving a limo now. That's awesome.
I've moved up in the world.
You watched this whole show wrong. I did too. For 9 years we all sat there staring at Ted. Ted and his search, Ted and his heartbreaks, and Ted and the umbrella, Ted and Ted and Ted. And the entire time sitting right there in the front seat was the one person in this show who actually had it all figured out. And we treated him like furniture. His name is Ranjit. And I know what you're thinking. Ranjit's the cab driver, the bit character. The guy who shows up for a laugh and drives them somewhere and disappears again. That's the joke. That's exactly the joke. And it's on us. Because here's what I noticed on my last rewatch. And I genuinely can't shake it. Watch where Ranjit is during the biggest nights of these people's lives. Not near them, not around them. He's driving them. He's physically steering these 5 lost adults from one life-changing moment to the next, while they sit in the back arguing about who they are and what they want and who they're supposed to end up with. They're lost. He's not. That's the whole thing, right there. This is the story of the man who saw everything.
Ranjit!
Hello.
I'm Rachel Sondheimer.
Wait a minute, Lily. If you are getting off the plane, where is Marshall? And where is your six-pack?
That's the problem. I have to get to Bruniverse in East Meadow in an hour.
To the tanker.
And why he might be the only actual grown-up in How I Met Your Mother. Let's go back to the very beginning. The night that starts the whole story. Ted meets Robin, he does the grand romantic thing, steals the blue French horn, falls head over heels in about 4 seconds flat. It's the night the entire 9-season saga is built on. And who's driving Ted around that night, ferrying him through the single most important evening of his romantic life? It's Ranjit. He's there at the start, not as a main player, as the guy behind the wheel, quietly making the whole night possible while Ted loses his mind in the back seat, and that becomes the pattern for the entire series. Big night out? Ranjit's driving. Someone's chasing someone across the city. Ranjit's driving. A wedding, a breakup, a drunken 3 a.m. decision that'll change everything. There's Ranjit up front and calm as anything, getting them where they need to go. And look, on the surface, it's just a recurring gag. The show brings him back, because he's warm and funny and the audience likes him. Fine.
I mean about Lily.
Well, she's being crazy too.
She's pregnant. She gets to be crazy. You have to be the sane one.
So what, I don't get to be crazy again until the baby comes?
No, then it's baby's turn to be crazy.
When do I get to be crazy again?
Never.
But stack up every single Ranjit appearance, and something starts to feel almost deliberate. This man is a constant. In a show that is fundamentally about chaos, about people who cannot for the life of them figure out what they want, Ranjit's the one fixed point, the steady hands on the wheel. And I used to think that was just him being a fun little side character, the comic relief cab guy. But then you start asking the question and the show never bothers to ask, what's his story? And the second you do, the whole thing flips. There's a word for the thing this show accidentally does to Ranjit. It's called Sonder. Sonder is that strange, dizzying realization that every single person you pass, every stranger, every extra in the background of your life is living a story as vivid and complicated and known full as your own. The barista, the guy on the bus, the driver up front, each of them is the main character of an entire life you'll never see. To you, they're scenery. To themselves, they're everything. And that's exactly what the show does to Ranjit. It puts him in the background of the important people's lives and trusts us to forget he has one of his own. But he does. And then the little glimpses we get of it are kind of incredible if you're paying attention. Because Ranjit isn't stuck. That's the part that gets me. He starts out driving a cab and he is not precious about it. He's proud of it. He does it well. And then quietly, in the background of everyone else's drama, he builds. He gets his own town's car. He works toward running his own thing. He's an immigrant chasing a very real, very unglamorous version of a dream. And he's actually catching it. One steady year at a time. And here's the contrast that honestly kind of floored me. While Ted is out there having a full nervous breakdown every season about whether he'll ever find the one. While Barney's hiding a whole person behind a suit. While Robin can't let herself be loved. And Marshall and Lily are pausing their fights and Ted is stealing horns off walls. What is Ranjit doing? He's married. He's working. He's building a life. He goes home to someone. He knows who he is. He is by a pretty wide margin, the most stable, content, well-adjusted person in this entire show. And he's the one we were trained to laugh at and forget. Now go back to that image. The one from the top. The gang in the back seat. Loud, lost, arguing about where they're going, changing their minds, spiraling. And Ranjit up front, quiet, steady, both hands on the wheel, knowing exactly where he's headed. I don't think that's an accident. I think that's the whole show in one frame, and it was sitting there the entire time, and none of us clocked it. These 5 people spend 9 years being driven around by a man who already has the thing they're all desperately searching for. A settled heart, a clear direction. He's not lost. He never was. He's just the guy who has to keep his eyes on the road while everyone in the back loses it. And every time they climbed out of his car and stumbled off into their next disaster, Ranjit just drove home. To his life. The one we never got to see. The one that was, by every measure that actually matters, more figured out than any of theirs. So here's the twist. And it's not really a twist about Ranjit. It's a twist about us. The show didn't make Ranjit small. We did. We're the ones who looked at the driver and saw a punchline instead of a person. We did the exact thing Sonder is about. We decided the people in the front seat of our story are just there to move the plot along, and the ones who matter, the ones with real inner lives, are the ones we've decided are the main characters. And the show quietly, almost sneakily, proves us wrong. Because if you actually measure these people, not by how much screen time they got, but by how well they were living, Ranjit wins. Easily. He's the one who wasn't chasing. He was building. He wasn't searching for the ending, he was already living in it. That's the part that reframes the whole series for me. We spent 9 years watching a man tell his kids this epic story about how hard it was to find love, how many wrong turns it took, how much heartbreak. And the whole time, the guy driving him from heartbreak to heartbreak had simply figured it out. No horn theft, no grand speeches, no 9-year search. Just work and love and knowing who he was. The show is called How I Met Your Mother. But there's a quieter story tucked into the front seat of almost every episode. A story about a man who never needed a whole series to find his happy ending because he'd been living inside one the entire time. And maybe that's why we like him so much, even if we never really thought about why. Because deep down, Ranjit is who we all secretly hope will become. Not the person in the back seat, frantic and lost, sure the big meaningful thing is always just out of reach, but the person up front, steady, content, quietly proud of the ordinary life they built with their own 2 hands while everyone else was busy chasing rainbows. He spent 9 years watching 5 people search for something. He already had it. So no, Ranjit was never the background character. He was the answer sitting in the front seat the whole time, and the show trusted us to be too busy watching Ted to notice. The man who saw everything. Every drunk decision, every heartbreak, every big romantic gesture that fell apart by morning. He saw it all, drove them through all of it, and then went home to the one thing they were all still looking for. We were watching the wrong character. The wisest person in this show was never in the back seat. He was driving. And here's the thing I actually want you to take from this one, because it's bigger than a sitcom. You have a Ranjit, probably a bunch of them. The driver, and the barista, and the person who bags your groceries, and the quiet coworker you've never really talked to. People you've quietly filed away as background in your own story. And every single one of them is the main character of a whole life you'll never see. Some of them, honestly, have the thing you're still chasing. That steady, unglamorous contentment you keep telling yourself is around the next corner. So maybe this week, notice one of them. Actually see them. You might be looking at someone who figured out the ending while you're still stuck in the back seat. Tell me down in the comments who your Ranjit is. The background person in your life who deserve more credit. I read every single one. And if you want more of this, the whole show seen from a different seat, pull up a seat under the yellow umbrella and subscribe. There's a lot of this story left to decode. I'm decoding How I Met Your Mother, one character at a time. I'll see you in the next one.